Good morning, kids. I don't know why I start every fucking video with a little giggle. I don't get it. Maybe I don't know. I was up early as fuck this morning, and I don't know why. I did this on Saturday morning too, which really pissed me off because, my weekends, typically I've got the kids and yada yada, but I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Saturday morning, I woke up at like 4. Today, I woke up at like 4:30. Totally fine. Like, I could not get back to sleep. I tried. No idea. No fucking clue. I have a feeling it's going to bite me in the ass halfway through the day. Fuck. Anyway, so I was thinking this morning that we might want to have a little history lesson on certain things. And I got a really great comment on my last video from a woman. Let's see here. She told me, her name is Bethany. She told me her daughter was born without her spleen and has chronic lung disease from being on a ventilator for her first 6 months. She also has CP. I have permanent liver damage from my appendix bursting. People need to realize just because someone looks healthy doesn't mean they are. If we were to get it, we would for sure die from it. I actually watched some 19 to 25-year-old in Walmart while shopping run around fake coughing all over food items as if it were funny. Not only could he have had it, everything he coughed on had to be thrown out. So not only the store was put out, but so were customers, as there were some products that were limited. Now, kids, I believe I kind of sort of talked about this in my last video with regards to people fucking thinking that this shit is funny. Look, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but I certainly noticed it in my state just over the weekend. But our numbers of coronavirus positives have skyrocketed. Like, fuck! I think the last time I checked, it was like at over 200 cases here in New Mexico. Now, understand this. 200 doesn't sound that bad until you realize that New Mexico has one of the lowest populations in the country. We're very rural. We are very rural. When I say very rural, I fucking mean it. I mean that the nearest large city to where I'm living is an hour and a half's drive away. I mean that the largest city in my state is a 3-hour drive from me, and that's in the north central part of the state. There are cities, there are towns that are like fucking 7, 8, 9-hour drives from me, and they are very spread out. I mean, the closest town over from me, like actual town, is like an hour drive. That's an hour in wilderness. Okay? For there to be 200 fucking cases in my state is huge. I can only imagine how bad it is in very populous states like California, New York City, although that's not a state. You know, the states in New England, which are very small states, but very densely populated, like, holy shit, okay? You guys need to think. Zoomers, this is not a joke. This is not funny. Coughing on things and thinking that you're being cute, thinking that you're being clever, it's not funny. What the fuck is wrong with you? But having said that, okay. Again, links below, you know me. Having said that, fact is that if y'all nasty motherfuckers would wash your goddamn hands and quit bitching about it, this would not have spread as fast as it did. What we are seeing now, with this spike in coronavirus cases is we are seeing the people that were infected 2 weeks ago. Okay? It takes at least 2 weeks for this shit to show up in symptoms. So, if you think about it, quite frankly, we knew this was coming. And you fucking conspiracy theorists with your bullshit of whatever the fuck it is that y'all are fucking talking about, shut up. Please. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. But anyway, the fact is that if y'all would wash your fucking hands like you're supposed to, we would not be seeing this spread. And the longer that y'all keep being assholes about it, the longer this shit's gonna last. Okay? Let me tell you something. In 1846, this doctor noticed that all the women that were giving birth in his maternity ward, not all the women, but a good percentage of the women that were giving birth in his maternity ward at his hospital were contracting fevers and dying shortly after childbirth. And he got to thoughtin', gee, I wonder why more of my patients are dying than the ones in the midwife-run maternity ward just next door. So he walked his happy little ass over to the midwife ward next door, and he watched what was happening because he wanted to know what they were doing different that he wasn't, that was resulting in his patients dying. Do you know what the answer to that was? Mind you, this is 1846. 1846. He noticed they were washing their hands. 1846. Thousands of years of childbirth and medical procedures and people fucking being operated on. And they just now noticed in 1846 in the medical community that, hey, washing your hands before performing major medical procedures might be a good idea. Are you fucking kidding me? In the medical community, actual fucking doctors didn't notice until 1846. Gee, we might want to wash our hands, but it gets even worse. It took years of this guy saying, no, really, guys, we probably should wash our hands. He noticed this because he worked in a learning hospital. And he realized that prior to visiting the maternity ward, his students were doing autopsies. They were touching birthing women with hands that hadn't been washed after dissecting dead bodies. Okay? And it still took several years for the rest of the medical community to go, gee, maybe we should scrub up before we touch our patients. What the fuck? And it gets even worse. It gets even worse. Okay, all of these pandemics, all of these epidemics throughout history, Spanish flu and what have you, have spread because y'all motherfuckers, the general population hasn't figured out you need to wash your hands. It is so simple. It is like the easiest thing in the world to wash your goddamn hands. It should not be this big of a problem that we're now seeing a global pandemic. And the only reason we're seeing a global pandemic is because enough of you nasty motherfuckers are not washing your hands. What the fuck? Listen, in the 1960s, with the spread of scarlet fever and chicken pox and all that fun shit that we now have inoculations against, you anti-vaxxing sons of bitches. Nurses tried to tell the population, the parents, wash your hands. Wash your hands after you handle meat. Wash your hands before you change your kid's fucking diaper. Wash your hands after you change your kid's diaper. wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And still, parents were bitchy about it. Oh, you're telling me that something like scarlet fever could really be stemmed by just washing my hands? Yes, you stupid bitch. Yes. Something so simple can stop a pandemic. Really, I promise. And you motherfuckers that are like bitching and complaining, all these little memes about, like with bony hands, just the hand bones, just the skeletons of the hands of, my hands after washing my hands fucking 46 times today. The fact that you are so bitchy about washing your hands that many times at all is disturbing. It's disturbing. It terrifies me. I'm now starting to fucking wonder about y'all. I really am. It's not that I keep a tube of really good hand cream in my desk at work. And it's really simple. You wash your hands and then you go and get your hand cream and you put your hand cream on. And that way your skin doesn't turn into leather. Not that fucking difficult. It's really not. I promise. Bill Burr actually did a set on white people using lotion. And I guess he had been dating this woman of color. And, they were getting ready to go out to eat and she was putting on lotion. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, I'm putting on lotion. I don't want to get all ashy. And he goes, ashy? What the fuck are you talking about? And she walked up to him and scratched her fingernail across his arm. And a bunch of dust came up. That's your dead skin cells fucking coming up. If you can go like this and you've got a line from where you scratched, it's because you're not using lotion. Use lotion. Use lotion to combat the skin dryness from washing your hands. It's not that fucking hard, kids. The fact that I even have to say this is disturbing to me. And just as a lark, just to prove me wrong, wash your hands. And if this fucking global shit keeps going, although I don't know how much fucking farther it could go now, maybe the North Pole, although I'm pretty sure that the penguins are washing their fucking hands because they have to fucking go in the water. Wash your hands. It's not that fucking hard. It's not that hard. And you parents bitching about having to wash your hands, like, I'm seriously disturbed. You won't wash your hands. You don't want to vaccinate your fucking kids. How the hell are your children still alive? Ah! Look, my ex-husband is a massive germaphobe. He is a massive germaphobe. This is one of the things during our marriage that just drove me fucking nuts. Because on so many levels, like, I'm like, dude, come on. I have an immune system. I've had all my shots, distemper included, although that one didn't seem to take. It's not that big a deal. Like, this man would seriously go through our house and sanitize everything, which drove me nuts because I'm like, how are our kids supposed to build up their immune system if you're sanitizing the world? What the fuck? But right now, I could not be any more grateful for his germophobia, for his anal retentive germophobia. I could not be any more grateful for it. Like, I seriously go to the grocery store, do all of his shopping for him and the kids, drive it to his house, put it all on his porch, knock on the door, and then leave. I haven't seen my kids in 2 weeks. Like, physically seen them. We video chat. He then goes outside with a pair of gloves and a tube of fucking sanitary wipes and wipes down every item before it comes in the house. And then he throws away the bags and the gloves in his outside bin. Now, on the one hand, that sounds crazy until you consider these assholes coughing all over fucking products in the grocery stores thinking they're funny. I could not be any more grateful for my husband's fucking insane germophobia right now, because that's probably the only thing keeping my children from getting this virus. I am not going to be okay if one of my children has to be hospitalized and I can't even go in there and be with them while they're sick. They're going to be alone in a hospital room with no family allowed because of this pandemic, because of how easily this is spread. Alone. Not even their mama to take care of them, to help them, to even just be there. Okay, they're going to be alone with overworked doctors and nurses. People are being allowed to die because of the lack of ventilators. Do you understand this? We do not have enough ventilators for the coronavirus patients that are currently in the hospital. And there are more being admitted to the hospital every day, and doctors and nurses are having to make the decision who lives and who dies from something so simple as a ventilator. Okay, this is not funny. People's parents, people's grandparents, people's children, the nurses and the doctors are having to look at people and be like, okay, well, that one's very young and usually, according to their medical history, has had a very good immune system and is typically very healthy. We're going to give the ventilator to them. This person is 65 years old. 65. My mother was 70 when she died. My grandmother is 90. 90. Okay? This person's 65 years old and was a smoker for 20 years, although they quit smoking. But there's a very good chance that they're not going to live because they're 65. We're going to give the ventilator to the child and not to the grandfather. And then that grandfather is going to sit there and fucking suffocate to death with their own lungs. This is not a joke. It's not funny. This is right up there with a lot of you motherfuckers deciding to write in Harambe on your fucking voting ballot in the 2018 election or 2016 election, presidential election. A lot of you motherfuckers wrote in a dead gorilla because you thought it was funny. It's not funny. This is serious shit. Jesus Christ. I can't believe I have to explain this shit. In case you don't believe me about when the medical community learned that, hey, maybe we should start washing our hands, I'm going to throw a link down below in the description for you to read, for you to peruse, for you to disregard. Jesus fuck. Oh my God, you people, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is what y'all get when I'm up at ass crack 30 and I'm on my second cup of coffee. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I would love to make more videos, but it kind of feels like I'm having a theme right now of me yelling at you people about the pandemic, and I really don't want to do that. I would prefer giving you guys videos that take your mind off of this, because, all of this shit of like, I'm getting really pissed off at my news feed on Facebook because it's nothing but coronavirus. It's like, I understand the need to disseminate information. I get it. I do. But all of this over-informing is going to do is terrify the shit out of you. We're all coming out of this with an anxiety complex. I guarantee it. Kind of like the Great Depression. My mother didn't even live through the Great Depression. My grandmother was a child when it happened. And, she was born in 29. So she was a baby. She didn't know anything. My grandfather lived through it. He was 9 years older than my grandmother. He lived through it. And the habits that they developed during the Great Depression lasted for the rest of their lives. You know, my mother would be peeling the potatoes for dinner. You know, my grandmother had 9 kids. My mother was the oldest of 9, is the oldest of 9. And my mother would be peeling the potatoes for dinner. And you know, you get that one weird spot, you know, that quite frankly, that's what the tip of the fucking potato peeler is for, is so that you can bore it out. Look, you just learned something. And she'd be peeling the potatoes, and instead of boring it out, she would just keep peeling until it fucking came off. And my grandfather would come over and pick up those peels and eat the good part of the potato from around that area before throwing the area away. Because in the Great Depression, literally every grain of food, every tiny bit of food could mean the difference between life and death. Because they had no food, they had no money, they had no nothing. They had nothing. You know, that whole thing of like washing their tin foil. My mother, when we went to clean out her fridge after she passed, we found her infamous Ziploc bag collection in the freezer. She would utilize a Ziploc bag to freeze her portions of meat. And then she would wash the bags, dry them, and then stick them in the freezer so that when she was ready to portion out meat again, she had a supply of bags. And that came from being raised by somebody who was, you know, in the middle of the Great Depression. She was also a military wife, and we only get paid once a month. And, you know, she'd do all of the major shopping once a month. And so, you know, she had 5 kids and all of us are huge. She would buy the big trays of meat and then portion it out for, you know, individual meals. A lot of you are going to learn shit that us poor motherfuckers have known for years, for whole lifetimes. You're going to learn how to budget properly. You're going to learn how to portion control your food. You're going to learn how to cook. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should, you know, I've been writing a cookbook for years. Maybe I should finally finish that, huh? Teach you all some skills that you didn't know. Like, a lot of you don't know how to make a pot of frijoles to save your life. And it's not even that hard. It's very fucking simple. It's like the easiest fucking thing in the world. And yet, the funny thing is that despite beans being one of the easiest fucking things to make, a lot of people get it wrong. A lot of people fuck it up. Y'all aren't fucking rinsing your beans before you put them in the pot. Bad. Gross. Yuck. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll give you guys some cooking lessons. My grandmother actually loves when I make baking powder biscuits. And baking powder biscuits actually do hail back to the Depression and World War I and World War II when rationing was a thing. And the reason why is because yeast-based breads had, all the yeast went to the war effort in World War II. And so they had to find some way of leavening their bread so that it would rise. And baking powder biscuits is what came up, you know. And my grandmother loves it when I make baking powder biscuits because it reminds her of her mom. And it makes her happy. And I need to bake that woman some biscuits and take them, have a cup of tea with my grandma. But yeah, maybe I'll, show you guys a few tricks in the kitchen. I could do worse. My son actually yesterday, I had to take him home because he had to go and do some laundry. And so I took him home, and he had fried some chicken the night before, and he gave me some leftovers, and holy shit. I taught that boy how to fry chicken, and he has surpassed the master. That he perfected it. I couldn't be any prouder of my older sons. Of all my kids anyway, but my older sons especially. Just because it's really cool seeing them being adults and making these really fantastic decisions and reasoning through it and like using that shit that I taught them for years. It's amazing. And absolutely one of the most rewarding parts about being a mother. And it certainly makes, raising the younger four that much easier, because it's like, I just have to wait. I just have to be patient. But yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. I could teach y'all how to make some actual enchiladas. Not Mexican enchilada casserole with green sauce. That's not what that's called. It's green chili chicken enchiladas. That's what it's called. I don't know how to make tamales though. Isn't that weird? Like, my grandmother's the tamale master, and I've never learned how to make tamales from her. Maybe that'll be a thing. Things to think about. Anyway, I am going to go finish getting ready for work because I have to go in about an hour, and I wanted to stop by the grocery store. Now that they've got me back at the law firm, I wanted to remind them why they missed me and go get some pastries before I go to work. So at any rate, I love you kids. Drop a comment down below. Tell me, what you want me to talk about. Tell me what you would like me to make a video on. Fuck it. Let's have a little bit of a learning hour. Why not? So anyway, don't forget to subscribe to me here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Mama Phoenix 6. And if you boogie on over to the About page here on my channel, you'll see everything from my Facebook fan page to my Instagram. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.